Let's be honest with ourselves. This is probably the exact moment that Bill Gates determined there's just too many people in this world.
Me and the devil
Right in the kitchen.
walking side by side.
Twice. A third time.
Me and the devil.
Oh, yeah. This says Bill Gates is probably more pissed off right now as his former ex-wife just came out on national television and trashed him for everyone to see here, as she also espoused some absolute nonsense that we're going to be talking about in this particular video, as of course hell knows no fury like a woman scorned. And it looks like this lady's pissed, and she's coming out. And again, a lot of people are like, why is she doing this now? What's going on here? As, of course, she has a new book to sell, and she specifically talks about the story of the decade surrounding, Jeffrey Epstein, which we still don't know much about with his scientific connections with Epstein that he had with Bill Gates, that they were, of course, working on, participating and doing some really kind of weird, awful stuff. We're going to get into that, plus a lot more in this video. Bear with me. I am under the weather. I will tell you how and why in just a little bit and what I'm doing about it. But before I do, let's just get right into this particular video, as I think it's important to talk about in great detail here, because this was a very kind of candid moment here. But there's more to this moment than just what lies in the eye of the beholder, as there was a very opportune time for Melinda Gates to, of course, come out against all of this. This has been in the works for quite a long time, as this is what she just said on CNN, which has a lot of their viewers shocked at Mr. Billy Boy.
Being with your daughter, Phoebe, and she was scrolling through her phone. She was a little younger then, watching these headlines. You also talk about how Bill, you said, betrayed your values. When you realized that for yourself, how did you explain that to Phoebe?
She understood. She knew what had happened. She had enough information about what happened that she understood that I needed to move along. Yeah. And it was sad for all of us.
Now, what are they talking about here? What did she have to move from? Well, this happened, according to all the sources, in an October month, where the New York Times published a deeply, quote, disturbing article that raised serious questions about Bill's conduct, suggesting that he had not just betrayed her, but her marriages. Now, what was that New York Times story? What was that? Oh, yeah. It was particularly about him hanging out with Jeffrey Epstein. As now, according to Melinda Gates, and we talked about this previously beforehand, Melinda, according to her and all the people online releasing this information, she came to Bill Gates and said, look, it's either me or Epstein. And according to a lot of sources, Bill Gates allegedly said, you know what, I'm not going to stop hanging out with the guy that procures small children to powerful, rich tech oligarchs like myself. I'm just not going to do it. And that was the moment where she, of course, felt betrayed here. But there's an interesting thing, highlighting the kind of opportune time that all of this has kind of happened, as, of course, a lot of people who are deep into the woman kind of psychology out there are pointing out that she only did this when it was revealed to the general public. As the article here reads on page 6, Melinda French Gates says she knew her marriage to Bill Gates was in deep trouble in 2019 when his infidelities and ties to Jeffrey Epstein were revealed publicly. So you're telling me it was fine before it was revealed publicly? I mean, she was talking about meeting with Jeffrey Epstein and being disturbed, having nightmares, talking about how he was a very nasty person. As, of course, Epstein, according to many sources, would be a freak, would be doing really heinous, awful things, like literally whipping it out in the middle of everyone and just deciding to, crank one out while making eye contact with random people on his plane. What was he really doing? Of course, this guy was totally out of control. This guy was above the law. This guy had the full support of police agencies, federal agencies, the politicians, king, queens, the biggest, most powerful people in our society were all bending the knee to Mr. Epstein, including, allegedly, Bill Gates. As, of course, the article continues, the philanthropist wrote in her new memoir the next day that she began having nightmares and quickly realized they were linked to her shaky marriage. Why was the marriage shaky? Well, again, Bill Gates was just running off with Epstein. What were they doing? They were working on some weird scientific experiments, as, of course, both of them shared a common interest in population control and eugenics, which, by the way, Melinda also shares as well. Well, she had some other things to say during her CNN interview, as, of course, she writes that October, things have reached a fever pitch when the New York Times published the story. As, of course, a lot of people are like, wait, hold on. So she was fine with it until the media actually made it an issue? Huh. That's a very interesting development here, as she has now been stunning people with this interview. But I think some questions rely, what did you know beforehand, and why did you only come out when it was made public? And would you have come out if it wasn't public? I think that's a question that CNN should have asked her. But they, of course, didn't. Before going on and playing the rest of the clips here, which are a little jarring, and to see what else Mr. Bill Gates is up to, we wanted to tell you about wearechange.shop. I'm taking a lot of my supplements today because I'm feeling a little bit under the weather. I don't know what's going on. I just couldn't sleep last night. I don't drink. I don't do any kind of substances. I'm usually very health conscious, so something just hit me. And, I got to pay the bills. I got to work here. I'm going to do a video later on today on lukeunfiltered.com where I do a meditation, because meditation is really good for your mental health, but also your physical health. I'm going to do a health-guided meditation with all of you guys that you guys could participate me if you're not feeling too well. And then I'll reveal my protocol that I am implementing, the supplements, the kind of things I'm doing in order to, of course, try to heal myself naturally and as organically as I can with all my supplements. Not just my supplements, there's other supplements that I'm taking right now. The best thing I should be doing, I should be relaxing. I should be taking it easy. Yesterday was the IRS day. I need to work. I need to earn money. I need to survive. I need to pay for my staff, and you guys could help all of that by signing up to lukeunfiltered.com. And I love working, and again, I just can't take off when there's so much news coming in right now that are absolutely important to talk about here. Now, CNN should have asked her those questions that I just mentioned beforehand, as we found out that this divorce was unfolding for over a year, as she details how she had nightmares and panic attacks. I would too, if my partner, if my wife was going off and hanging out and going to private islands and with Jeffrey Epstein. As we also got other articles here. This one from Business Insider detailing how Bill Gates went to the office when Melinda Gates was in the hospital before giving birth. She enjoyed the, quote, solo time. So clearly a very rocky relationship, to say the least here, as there's some new details coming out, emerging. And again, let's just be real here. We're not fans of Bill Gates here, but there's always two sides of the story here. We don't know exactly what happened. We don't know if she kicked him out. Again, it seems like she is kind of mad, scorned, and going up against Bill Gates right now, pretty publicly. Do you believe her right away, automatically? I still believe there should be some kind of questions here, especially when you're coming out in the public square, to be like, okay, wait, hold on. What's Bill's side of the story here? I think it's only fair. And I'm not a fan of Bill, but let's have some integrity here. Let's have an ability here to try to see things rationally. As, of course, Melinda Gates then went on CNN and is talking about how she now is pushing a lot of her initiatives that are extremely woke. She's pushing literally anti-racist math. She's pushing gender equality. She's pushing for, quote, reproductive rights for women, because women somehow don't have the same rights that she did. She came out. And this is a little bit of a delusional take here, in my opinion. This is an absolutely wrong take to make here, especially with Donald Trump coming out saying, hey, reproductive rights, a.k.a. abortion, is a state's issue. Now, there are some Republican hardliners that have been, raising a stink about this. Personally, I'm pro-life myself. That's just my own personal decision. It's a situation that a lot of Republicans are staying away from since it's been the main rallying call for the left, a rallying call that I believe is also based in delusion, as perfectly highlighted by what Melinda Gates had to say here.
I wanted to split off and do my own work through Pivotal Ventures because I thought there were things I wanted to do in the United States that would be easier to do really under my own organization.
Like push anti-racist math. What?
And one of the things that spurred me on was thinking about the fact that my two granddaughters, who are ages 2 and 5 months, they don't have as many rights right now as I did growing up. And that just doesn't make any sense to me.
What are you talking about? What rights? If you're the CNN anchor, again, poor job by CNN. What rights are people being denied right now that they don't have, that they didn't have a few years ago? Am I missing something? Was there a repealment of the 19th Amendment? What? Did that happen? No, it didn't. What is she talking about here? As of course, she also then went on, and CNN, again, just gave her the perfect layup here. I wouldn't be surprised if this whole interview was scripted by Melinda just to get the exclusive here, being like, look, I'll give you the interview, but this is what you got to ask. Don't deviate from it. It happens all the time. It happened with Joe Biden. It happens with a lot of powerful celebrities that are like, listen, you're gonna not interview me. You're going to do my PR for me, okay? Do you want the PR or do you not? And it wouldn't surprise me because CNN's question was, this administration is now an incubator for skepticism about procedures that we can't talk about here, that Dr. Fauci loved, that Bill Gates loved, that he was heavily invested in, as she talks about the dangers of now measles. I think Callie Means here on Twitter made a good point, saying 38% of teens have pre-diabetes, and Melinda Gates is talking about measles here and forcing more procedures onto children that now RFK has linked to potentially the rise of things like autism. He's now doing scientific studies. Donald Trump hinted at how RFK is going to be revealing some very important stuff that's going to tank the businesses of the Gateses. That truly will be really eye-opening, as RFK Jr. is saying that the study should be concluded at around September, and I would expect some major bombshells around that in September. So we're going to find out what is really going on here. But of course, now she is a billionaire. She has a lot of wealth. And where is she going to be giving it? To some of the most deranged, liberal, woke, leftist causes. As she came out and she was like, oh no, those Deutsche cuts, they're horrible. I don't understand them. Why? Why are we cutting off Deutsche funds, U.S. aid funds that used to go to me and my husband? Why are we stopping our tax dollars that were just directly given to us? Why? This doesn't make sense. It's so nice.
This is all being led by Elon Musk. Do you think he understands the value of the government in doing some of this work that has already saved millions of lives?
Well, all I can say is that a good manager doesn't just immediately cut something off. They go out, they understand the work, they see what differences have been made, and then you might say, okay.
Yeah, we were literally financing tourism for the Giza pyramids. The Giza pyramids sell themselves. Okay, we were literally spending our money on promoting pottery in Africa. What? I'm sorry, but Americans, having more difficulties paying for groceries is a little bit more important than promoting tourism to places like Morocco, where, white women previously have gone before and then become beheaded.
Maybe 10% of it wasn't being spent well, or this 5% over here was...
No. It's like overwhelmingly all of it when you take a deep look into it. Even Marco Rubio tried to save it and was like, let's just cut it because this is insane. And USAID is literally spending money making the world more woke, more left, and more gay.
Wasted in some way. None of us want that with our taxpayer dollars. But good management doesn't say you just cut something immediately and then even all those U.S. employees are gone. I don't understand.
I would say better management. I would say the management did the right job here. And, of course, Melinda joins Bill Gates in their clutching of the pearls, saying, oh, no, that U.S. aid money that was going through our organizations and our nonprofits that we took from the taxpayers, we can't finance our political causes here. As, of course, Melinda Gates and Bill Gates both supported Kamala Harris for the presidency of the United States. As Melinda said, quote, we need a leader who stands up for reproductive freedom. Again, that wasn't even on the ballot. again, it was a made-up battlefield that the left artificially astroturfed and made it an issue when it wasn't an issue beforehand. Again, lots of hypocrisy by the Gateses, as we have Liz Churchill pointing out. Never forget, Bill Gates' daughter had a multi-million-dollar lavish wedding in 2021 while people were still being forced into quarantine camps. Yeah, that's important to bring up here, as of course, Bill Gates also has a lot of properties that are beachfront for some strange reason, as these people also keep warning us about the sea levels rising and, taking over and of course, flooding the world. Doesn't seem like Nancy Pelosi, Barack Obama, and Bill Gates were worried about it with all of their beachfront property here. Again, this is a learning lesson. Never take health tips from individuals that believe that the world is overpopulated, as now Bill Gates is coming up and very interestingly kind of talking about artificial intelligence that he believes will, of course, play a major role. He just did a pretty interesting podcast. I wish this podcaster would ask him some legitimate questions, but I doubt that happened here. I listened to a little bit of it. I'm like, okay, he's just gushing over him. As Bill Gates now also in that podcast warned that within 10 years, artificial intelligence will replace many doctors, many teachers. He's right about that. I've been talking about that myself here, as he specifically talked about how this could be a great thing, especially with places like Africa that don't have doctors. Now, the AI doctors will come in and recommend his products that he's connected to, a part of the scientific community that he is playing a major role in, to the point where there now is a Bill chill. Now, Bill Gates talking about how AI could also eliminate humanity is something that he, I don't know, personally, I would say would be a little bit too happy and excited about. Now, what do you believe here? Do you believe Melinda or do you believe Bill? Or do you think both of them are individuals that are just opportunistic and taking shots against each other? Now, these personal shots against Bill Gates come at a very interesting time. Bill Gates lost a lot of funding with USAID. It looks like there's still some serious consideration about potentially releasing the Epstein client list, which, of course, a lot of people would say is probably on that list. All of this, as Elon Musk is also on social media hinting at the fact that the people who are going up against Tesla will be held criminally responsible for their actions, as Bill Gates also notoriously has been known for trying to short the stock of Tesla. He's a major player. He supported Kamala Harris. A lot of people concluded that he probably supported Kamala Harris because she wasn't the one threatening to release the Epstein list. Now, will Donald Trump release the Epstein list? That's still another question within itself that personally I have had a lot of disappointments with about myself personally. Now, who's in the right here? Let me know what you think about this kind of interpersonal spat now that is making headline news all around the United States surrounding the very kind of dirty laundry of Bill Gates and Melinda Gates out here. And again, overall, my conclusion, shame on CNN for not asking some legitimate questions here. Shame on this podcaster for not asking some legitimate questions as well when he was interviewing Bill Gates here as well. Here again, there's so many different questions that should have been asked here, but you just see, oh yeah, cheery, yeah, oh yeah, we're so happy, yeah, we're smiling, yeah. Come on, guys. We could all do a little bit better, especially when it comes to, doing actual journalism and not just PR for the super rich people out there. As right now, a lot of people say it's going to be a bad year for Bill Gates. Will it actually manifest in any kind of legitimate legal actions? Well, it looks like Melinda Gates is trying to set it up for that exact situation, as there's probably a lot more to the story than we know about. And what really happened between the two? Why did they decide to divorce? Was it really just because the story went public? What if the story didn't go public? I think that's a question still worth asking. If you agree, share this video. Get some supplements. I'm going to do a video. I'm going to take a nap right now. And then after that nap, I'm going to do another video for lookunfiltered.com where we do our guided health, conscious, relaxing, healing type of meditation. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. Appreciate your health when you have it. I'm exhausted. I love you guys. Stay tuned for more. All here exclusively on youtube.com/wearechange.